Herbert D. Riley. Herbert Douglas Riley, December 24, 1904, January 17, 1973, was a highly decorated officer in the United States Navy with the rank of Vice Admiral. A United States Naval Academy graduate, he trained as naval aviator and distinguished himself first as commanding officer of the escort carrier USS Makassar Strait during the combats at Iwo Jima and Okinawa during World War II. Following the war, he rose to the flag rank and held important staff assignments as Deputy Chief of Naval Operations for Riley was a son-in-law of Admiral John H. Towers, pioneer naval aviator, and later Commander-in-Chief, United States Pacific Fleet. Naval career. Early career. Herbert D. Riley was born on December 24, 1904, in Baltimore, Maryland, the son of Marion and Sarah Riley. He attended the Baltimore Polytechnic Institute and received an appointment to the United States Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland, in May 1923. While at the Academy, Riley was active in lacrosse and was on the editorial staff of the Lucky Bag. He was nicknamed Herb or Pat. Many of his classmates became general officers later, including George W. Anderson, Jr., Glenn R. Donahoe, John C. Munn, Alan Shapley, John Thatch, Clarence E. Coffin, Samuel H. Crittenden, Jr., Marion L. Dawson, Timothy F. Donohue, Thomas J. Hamilton, Herbert L. Horner. Riley graduated with Bachelor of Science on June 2, 1927, and was commissioned and signed in the United States Navy on the same date. He was attached to the battleship USS New Mexico 2 months later and participated in the patrol cruises with the Pacific Fleet before he was ordered to Naval Air Station Pensacola, Florida for flight training in September 1929. Upon the completion of the training, Riley was designated Naval Aviator on September 3, 1930, and was attached to the Scouting Squadron 6V-6 Aircraft Squadron's scouting fleet. While he underwent training, he was promoted to lieutenant junior grade on June 2, 1930, and also completed correspondence course in optics at the Naval War College. Riley then served with the Scouting Squadron 5V-5 until June 1933, when he was transferred to the Patrol Squadron 1VP-1 stationed at Pearl Harbor, territory of Hawaii. In June 1935, Riley was transferred to the Fighting Squadron 3VF-3 and was promoted to lieutenant on June 30, 1936. Duty in Washington. An important milestone of Riley's career was his transfer to the Naval Air Station Anacostia in Washington, D.C. in January 1938. He served as test and transport pilot for government officials and also held additional duty as naval aide to President Franklin D. Roosevelt at the White House. While in this capacity, Riley met Marjorie Towers, daughter of Rear Admiral John H. Towers, then Chief of Bureau of Aeronautics. They were married in the Fort Myer Chapel, Virginia in June 1940. Riley was shortly thereafter transferred to the staff, Commander, Carrier Division 1 under Rear Admiral Arthur L. Bristol, and served as his flag lieutenant and aide, and continued in this capacity following Bristol's appointment as Commander, Aircraft Scouting Force of the Atlantic Fleet. Following appointment of Rear Admiral John S. McCain, S.R. to command of Aircraft Scouting Force, Riley remained as his aide for several months. World War II. Following the United States entry into World War II, Riley was promoted to the rank of lieutenant commander on January 1, 1942, and assumed duty as operations officer on the staff of commander. In late 1942, Riley was temporarily attached to the aircraft squadrons operating at Guadalcanal and saw combat duty against Japanese fighter planes. He subsequently returned to Washington, D.C., and was attached Bureau of Aeronautics. Riley was ordered to Pearl Harbor, Hawaii in early January 1945 and assumed command of escort carrier USS Makassar Strait. Riley commanded his carrier during the protecting of convoys supporting the frontline fast carrier task force under his old superior, now Vice Admiral John S. McCain SR, and also provided air screens for the transfer of replacement aircraft to their carriers during the Battle of Iwo Jima. Upon promotion to the temporary rank of captain on March 20, 1945, Riley's ship provided close air support and bombed Japanese defenses as the Marines struggled to fight their way south during the combats at Okinawa in May 1945, and Riley was decorated with Bronze Star Medal with Kev. He was transferred to the Staff Commander 1st Carrier Task Force under Vice Admiral Frederick C. Sherman as Operations Officer by the end of July 1945. While in this capacity, he took part in the occupation of Japan and was appointed Honorary Commander of the Order of the British Empire for his wartime service by the United Kingdom. Post-war career. Death. Following his retirement, Riley settled at Kent Island, Maryland, and was active in the Naval Institute's oral history program. He died at his home on January 17, 1973, aged 68, and was buried with full military honors at the United States Naval Academy Cemetery in Annapolis, Maryland, where his headstone proclaims him to have been a ninth-generation Marylander. Riley had two children, a son Herbert Jr., who died only one day after his birth in 1941, and a daughter Lynn Lovelace Riley. Awards and decorations. Here is the ribbon bar of Vice Admiral Riley.